So what's up, everybody? How we doing? We're gonna get into a couple of main conclusion problems. Let's get into it. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab this annotation, or I'm not gonna have this during the test, but it'll be nice to have right now, but let's get into it. Okay. So this one says community organizations wanting to enhance support for higher education programs need to convince the public that such programs benefit society as a whole. So here we say, hey, if these community organizations who want to enhance the support for higher, then they need to convince the public. All right. So we have the author talking here. Right? And then it says, taking this approach makes the public more receptive. Okay, so taking this approach of trying to convince the public that the is benefit of the whole makes the public more receptive, right? It is much easier, for example, to get public support. So I already know right now that this is going to be support, right? Because we have this, we're saying, hey, this approach, it is much easier, for example, to get public support, to get the public support road building which is seen, oh, sorry about that, to get the public support to support road building, which is seen as benefiting everyone, than it is to get them to support programs that are benefiting. So from this, we can see, hey, this is all support for this claim that community organizations, right? We have the overall conclusion, right? That says community. This is the overall conclusion, right? That community organizations wanting to enhance support. So if you want to enhance, support for higher education programs, you need to convince the public. So I'm going to be looking for that somewhere. Okay. So community organizations seeking to encourage higher education programs must persuade the public that these programs benefit society as a whole. Right. So I'm gonna go right here. Right. I'm liking that. Okay. It is easier to get. So I'm just gonna skim through these other ones as we just take a look. But I'm pretty confident that it's A. It is easier to get public support programs that are seen as benefit than it is to get them to support. That is not the main. I see that it is here, but that is not the main conclusion. It is easier to get the public to support road. No, I can just cross that one off. All right, let's just. Oh my goodness, let's just convincing the public that higher education pro as a whole makes public more receptive. See, I hear what these guys are saying, but this is the sub conclusion, right? Is that it is more receptive. But the whole thing is that if you want to enhance it, you should do these. Yeah, so these row building, so we're gonna go here. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so we have another main conclusion, right? These are all main conclusions, so we're gonna try to find the main conclusion in this argument. Okay, let's do it. Because tropical storms require heat and moisture, right? So because these storms require heat and oh shoot, that's pretty cool. They form especially over ocean degrees of at least 26 degrees Celsius. Ocean temperatures that global warming would encourage. Okay. For this reason, many early discussions of global warming predicted, right? So what did they predict? That it would be cause more frequent and intense tropical storms. Dang, this is it's kind of hard to draw. But recent research shows that this prediction, right? So I think we're getting into, oh my goodness, bro, this is tough. That this prediction is unlikely to be borne out. Other factors such as instabilities and wind flow. So we have this and we have this. My main conclusion is that right here. Tropical storms, especially likely to form. No, that is not the main conclusion. That is, bruh. Contrary to early discussions, right? So I'm liking this. Global warming is not the only factor affecting the frequency and intensity of tropical storms. I'm liking this. We'll hold on to it. If global warming were reversed, we don't talk about that. Instabilities in wind flow would negate the effect of global warming. So I'm right here. Global warming probably will not produce more frequent and intense tropical storms. So why is this one wrong? This one is wrong because it says global warming is not the only factor. We're not talking about the only factor. We're talking about that it is causing it. Let's move on. Okay, so this anthropologist is speaking. He says, many people think that if human language evolved, right, so then something like it must be present in those species most closely related to humans, such as chimpanzees. So, hey, this is what many people, right? This is what many people are thinking, right? So we'll go continue. So these many people reason that since new traits evolve gradually, something like human language, albeit cruder, right? So that's not really important, must exist in some species from which humans evolved, right? So this is again repeating what many people think. This general line of argument may be reasonable, but it simply does not follow that chimpanzees have anything like human language because human language did not evolve from chimpanzees, right? So here's what I'm seeing. While chimpanzees are indeed closely related to humans, this is because we both evolved from a common ancestor. The evolution of human language might have easily begun after the extinction of that common ancestor. All right, so let's move it back over here. This one's not right. The assumption that something like human language must exist in some species so as humans evolve has no clear-cut linguistic. Yeah, so I'm liking this. I'm liking this. The commuter system or cruder. Nope. Human language is a byproduct of human. Nope. The evolution of human. So I'm assuming this one's gonna be close. The evolution of human language began at. Nope, that's not it either. How do I get rid of this? All right, let's move on. Let me check my phone real quick. Oh, my phone. Let me just 1 second, guys. All right, let's move on. Um, I'm not sure where this thing went. Bring the annotation back. So Tennyson's line of poetry, right? So it's Tennyson dude's line of poetry. Nature, red in tooth and claw, right? So this cool line, I guess. Oh, let's go back here. Is misconstructed by many evolutionists as a reference to Darwin. So I'm already assuming just based off that this is the main conclusion, right? So I'm assuming that this is the main conclusion and that these next things are going to be sorted. The poem in which the line appears was published in 1850. In addition, the view of this context. So I'm already saying that this is misconstrued. So I'm looking for this. Line term cannot now be construed as an apt description. Okay, I like this. Oops. I want to see it's misconstrued, but I'm not saying that the line of Tennyson's poetry cannot now be constructed as an apt description of the dominant biological theory. Nope. Tennyson's line of poetry was written well before. That's not it. Darwin's theory of evolution was not that was not a reference. Yeah. Okay. See, I'm a little confused because this idea of as an apt description. It's not about an apt description, right? So Darwin's theory of evolution was not dominant. Okay. Okay. More so there's moralist is speaking. And he says, humans have a natural disposition to altruism. What is altruism? I think I forgot, right? But let's always like skipping this. So humans have a natural disposition to altruism. Like altruism. I think it's like altruistic, maybe like to be good. But anyways, we don't need to know that. But that very disposition prevents some acts of altruism from counting as moral. So this deposition to altruism prevents some acts of altruism from counting as moral. Right, let's read this. That is to behavior that serves the needs of others regardless of one's needs, right? But that very decision, okay, why? Which I'm assuming the reason plays an essential role in any moral behavior. Only behavior that is intended to be in accordance with a formal set of rules or moral code can be construed. Okay, so I think the main conclusion is that altruism prevents some acts, right? Or altruism is not a formal set of rules and moral code. Okay. All moral behavior is motivated by altruism. That is just not at all what we're talking about. All moral, and that's not at all what we're talking about. Behavior must serve the needs of others in order to be moral behavior. That is not what we are referring to at all. Not all altruistic behavior acts are moral behavior. Yeah. All right, let's submit it and let's see how we did. I think I got 100%. And I did. Let's go.